Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about how we can change the theme and style of our web page based on light mode and dark mode. And we're going to use only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to do this. As you can see here, we got this toggle that we can change between of light mode and dark mode. And when we are in the light mode here, our text says change to dark mode, and when we click this, it change to light mode. And as you see, when we click on this, we're going to change the appearance and theme of our web page from light to dark and reverse. So let's jump into code. Here in VS Code, first we're going to have our index.html file, then we're going to have this style.css, as well as our index.js. And we're going to open our index.html using live server, which is real-time reload and refresh extension in VS Code that changes anything that we have right here in a real time in our web page. For example, as you can see here, we got nothing in the body, and here in the web page we got nothing too. But here, if I got some random characters here, if we come to the page, we got that one right here. So let's start coding our HTML first. As you saw in the first part and intro part of the video, we're going to have 3 cards and some little box below them that is going to handle the change of the theme for us. So at the first, we're going to have div with the class of cards container. Then inside of this, we're going to have another div with the class of cards, which we need 3 of these items, but we're going to style and code one of them and then duplicate that 2 times to have 3 items because all of them are same. In our card, we're going to have our simple h1, which says this lorem ipsum, for example. Then we're going to have some dividers here. And here we're going to have this paragraph. Let's say we have 30 words right here. Then we're going to have unordered list here, which inside of this, we're going to have 3 list items. And these are going to be item 1, item 2, and item 3. And after these items, let's say we got our symbol button with the text of order right here. Now, if we check our web page, you can see that we got this kind of things right here, which has no styles. So let's jump into the CSS and start styling our card. Because we're going to use 2 different themes right here, what we're going to do is set our CSS variables at the root, just like this. And then when we want to change the theme to the dark mode, we only need to change the items that we have right here. And this is not complicated. Watch till the end and you will know exactly what we are going to do. Here first, we're going to have our simple primary color, which is going to be this hex code of 1E63P8. And then after this, we're going to have this color for the box, which is this hex code right here. Then we're going to have our text to be this black in one situations. And we got another variable, which again is going to be text, but we have this text too to be different from this one. And here we want to have this white here. Now let's come and style our items. First, let's get rid of all of the margins that we have as default in our web page. So here we use this margin and we make that 0. After this, we're going to make all of the font of the web page to Arial. So here we use this font family and we use Arial right here. But actually I forgot to implement JavaScript and CSS into my file. So let's add our JavaScript and CSS into our file here. CSS is top there and JavaScript is going to be down here, which is this index.js. Now you can see we got changed the style a little bit right here. Now because we want to change the background color, so we're going to have this body right here and here we want to change the background to the one of the variables that we have. You can see here, because we're going to style first in the light mode, we're going to use white as our background. You can see it is as same as this text too. And because we want to have minimum number of the variables in our files and codes, we're going to use exactly this one again here in the background too. So here we're going to use this text to as our background of the body. After this, we're going to have this cards container, which this is going to have this display of flex because we're going to have 3 items and we want this justify content to be spaced evenly right here. And let's say we want to have some padding top of 100 pixels right here. Now if we come to our index.html, and here if we copy this card that we have right here, as you can see, we make that 3 times. You can see this is how it's going to be shown. But first, we're going to stay with only one and then duplicate those items. So let's start styling our card. Here, we're going to have our width. Let's say we want that to be 400 pixels here. Then we're going to have our background. And as you know, we're going to use again our variables here, which is this box that we have created just right here. And you can see that we got our color for the box here. Then we're going to have this padding, let's say 30 pixel here. And at the last, let's add some border radius right here. Let's say 10 pixel is enough here. Now, after this item, we're going to select the elements inside of our card and style them right here. First, let's start our H1, which what we need to do is only change the color to our primary color that we have. But pay attention, we're not going to use that color and we're going to use the variable for that color. Then let's come to our HR tag. Here, what we need to do, let's have only some margin here. Let's say 2 rem for the top and bottom and 0 for the sides. Have some space between our elements. And then we're going to have this card and paragraph tag. Again, we're going to make the color of this to our variable of text just right here. And let's change the font size a little bit. So here, let's say we want this to be 1.4 rem. And now the next thing that we have this UL and unordered list tag that we got. What we need to do here is to change the list style image that we got right here. And for that here, we're going to create new folder with the name of list styles. And inside of this, I'm going to have 2 images, which if you want these items too, I'm going to give you the link of the GitHub repository that you have all of the files and codes that we're going to write together. Here, our first item is this one for the dark mode and this one for the light mode. Now let's come here into our style. And first, because we're using the light mode at the first, we're going to use light mode's list style image. So here we use this list dash style dash image just right here. And then we pass the URL for that, which in our case, it's going to be in list styles folder and here light item.png. And you can see that we got these items right here. Now, after this, let's style our card LIs right here. So list item inside of our card, which let's say we want some margin at the first for the top and bottom. Let's say again 2 rem right here, 0 for the sides. And let's change the font size a little bit too. Again, 1.4 rem is good because we want these items size as same as this one. And we want to change the color for the text of these, which is going to be again our variable and our text variable right here. Then here we're going to have another item inside of our cards, which is our button. And again here, first we're going to change the background. And because we want our background to our primary, we use again this primary variable that we got right here. Then let's get rid of this border that we have right here. So make that none. let's change the color of the text to this text 2 that we have. Then let's make the width of this 150 pixels, as well as height of it to be, let's say, 50 pixels. Then let's add some border radius here. Let's say 5 pixel is enough in this case. And we can have some margins here too. Let's say we want this 4 rem for the top. We want auto for the right, 2 rem for the bottom, and again auto for the left. And because we want to have this button in the center and we want to use this auto keywords right here, we can have changed the display of our button element to be this black. And by this, we're going to have this item here in the middle. Then let's change the font size. Again, we're going to use this one, that 4 rem right here. And let's make the cursor right here to be pointer. Now this is our button right here. And now after we created all of these items, we can have changed the number of our cards and make that to the 3 that we actually have. So we grab this card div that we got right here and we duplicate that 2 times. Now if we check, you can see here we got our 3 items and 3 cards as we wanted in our web page. Now let's start and style the box below of these items, which is going to be handle the change of our theme for us. Now here, after our card container that we got right here, let's actually close this item right here. We're going to have another div, which is going to be this toggle container. And inside of this, we're going to have this simple paragraph, which says change to dark/white mode, which we're going to change this to the span and change the text of this based on the theme that we have later. And then after this, we're going to create some toggles right here. So what we need to do is we're going to have simple div with the ID of container right here. And inside of this, we want another div with the ID of circle. And let's come here and make our display of the container none for the moment because we want to only focus on this part for the now. So as you can see here, we got our simple text here, but let's jump into JavaScript and start styling our item. First, what we need to do is we style this toggle container that we got right here. So we have this class right here, and inside of this, let's first have this background of box again right here. Then we want the display to be flex. We want align items to be center. We want the width to be as same as our box that we got, which is again 400 pixels. We want our justified content to be spaced evenly here too. Then the font size to be 1.4 rem. We want padding of 1 rem all around of our box here. And we're going to have this margin, which let's say we want 2 rem for the top and bottom. And for the sides, let's use our calc function that, if you don't know this, link for how we can use functions in CSS in the description, and you can watch that. So here we're going to use this calc right here, and inside of this, we're going to first have this 100 view width minus 400 pixels, which is the size of our box, and then we want to divide that too, so our item be in the center. As you can see here, we got our item to be center here. Then let's add some border radius here. 10 pixel is going to be good here too. And then at the last, let's have our color for the text to be this text variable that we got. After this, let's start and style the toggle. As you know, we got 2 IDs right here. First one is going to be this container, and the next one is going to be this circle. And for the container, we're going to have this width of 80 pixels, then the height, let's say we got the half of that, so 40 pixel right here. We want the background to be gray for the moment. Then we want this border radius to be 50 pixels, so we got all round in the corners. Then we want the display to be flex, align items to be center, and we want our cursor to be pointer here. Now for the circle, we're going to have this width of 30 pixel here, as well as our height to be again 30 pixel, because we want this to be circle. And then we want the background to be simple white, as you can see right here. Again, this border radius to be 50 pixel. And as you can see here, we want some margins here too. So let's add that one here too. We add this margin of 5 pixel here, and that should be fixed right here. And now this is how our toggle is with no interactivity for the change. But now after we finish these items, let's make the display of our cards container to be again this flex. And now if we come to our page, you can see that we got these items. And now let's jump into JavaScript and change our items. So here in the JavaScript, what we need to do first is we're going to save the mode and the theme of our web page to know what it is. If it's light, we're going to change that to the dark, and if it is dark, we're going to change that to the light. So we're going to have this variable of mode right here, which first is going to start with the light mode. Then we're going to have this function for the change, which is going to handle the change of the theme for us. And inside of this, we can have our options. And for adding functionality to this item right here, we're going to target this circle in our JavaScript. And we want when our change function collect and run, this item comes from this side to this side. And how we're going to do that is by selecting our circle, which is this document that gets element by ID, and ID of that is going to be this circle right here. And then inside of this, we're going to have this style and this transform. And here we need to pass this translate X and this 40 pixel right here because of our calculations. And let's add this change function to our HTML. So we want this container, which is going to be exactly this gray box right here, to have that functionality. So we have this on click and we have this change function right here. And now if we come to our web page and click on this, you can see this circle got from here to here. But we want when we are in this mode and click again, this one comes to this place again. And for that, we're going to use our if statement in our change function, which the condition is checked in mode to see if it's equal to the light. We want this command to run, and in the else part, we want to make this as regular, which is 0 pixels for the translate. And now, because when we click, we only have this and not changing the mode to the dark, it's not going to work. So here, first, let's have this comment of toggle right here in this part. And here we have this change mode. So we make mode to the dark. And here again, we're going to have another one here too, which says change mode. And here we have this mode to be light. And now if we come to our web page, if we click once, nothing happened. Let's check the code. Here we got another space here. And if we remove this and come again to our web page, you can see if we click once, we got our item and our circle to be right here. And if we click again, it comes to its place. Now let's change the color for our items right here. You know that this is our light mode, and when we click this to the dark mode, we want to change the colors. And as you know, all of the colors that we need to change are here in the top part of our document, which is these 4 colors. And all of them are variables for CSS. And how we're going to change them here in our JavaScript, which let's add another comment here, which tells us changing to dark mode, and we got exactly this thing right here, which changed to light mode. Here we have another comment, which is changing the colors. And what we need to do here, again, we're going to use our document, and here inside of this we're not going to select element because we want these one to change and we don't want to search and select any elements in JavaScript. So we're going to have this document right here. Then inside of that, we're going to have this document element, and inside of that, here we got this style, and inside of this one, again, we got the set property method, which inside of this, we need to pass two strings into this method. First one is being the name of the variable that we have in our CSS, and next one is the color that we have. In our example, you know that we have this primary right here, and the color that we want to use for dark mode is going to be this 67A9ED. And by only having this, if we come to our web page and click this, you can see we got changed these items right here. And as same as this one, we need to have three more changing color, which one is going to be for this box, text, and text too. So let's change these to this box, this text, and this text too. And the colors that we're going to use here for the box is going to be this. For the text, because this was black before, we want this to be white, and because our text too was white here, as you can see here, we want this to be black. And by having these items, if we come to our web page and we use this, you can see we got changed our items to the dark mode, and our colors has changed. But we want, when we click again on this item, it changed to the light mode. And how we're going to have this is copy this section that we have for changing the colors right here and come to this else. After we have this change the mode, we paste these items right here. Let's make these a little prettier. And then we want exactly the values that we got right here. So the primary color is going to be this, the box color is going to be this, and text is going to be black, and text 2 is going to be white. So text here needs to be black, and text 2 is going to be white. And you probably know, but the ones who don't know this is the hex code for the black, and this is hex code for the white. Now, if we come to our web page, you can see if we click once, we got our dark mode, and if we click again, we got our light mode right here. But as you see here, our list items has not changed, and we got exactly the item that we got right here. And for changing those items, what we need to do, let's add another comment right here, change list items, and inside of this, first we're going to target our list item, and for that, we're going to first get the elements with the tag name of UL, which is going to grab all of these UL elements for us. And then we were going to change these UL's list style image to the dark item that we got. So what we need to do, first let's create a variable with the name of this lists, which is going to be this document that gets elements by tag name, and the tag name that we want to have is this UL. And this one is going to give us 3 ULs and put them in this list. And because we want to access them, we're going to use this for loop. And we want this let I, and the array that we're going to use is going to be this lists. And inside of our for loop, we want this lists that we have right here, and we want to select each item on each loop, and inside of style of it, we have this property of list style image, and we want to make that the URL that we want. The first URL that we have for the light modes, if we find it, is this one that we got right here, but we want this to be dark item and not light item. let's add this parentheses here too. Now, if we come to our web page, if we click, you can see those item has changed too. But if we click back, those are still in dark mode image. So again, for having that item changed to light mode too, we're going to have again this one right here. And here, instead of this dark item, we're going to have this light item. And what we have done, you can see here in the else part, which we are going to change theme to the light mode, we added this for loop that we created just above, and we set the items list style image to this light item. Now again, if we come, you can see we got both of them working just like this. But because we want to have some little animation when we're changing the mode from light to dark, so we're going to add some transition. And we want to add that transition to all of our items. So here we use this transition, we select all of the properties, we use this is in, and then the timing, let's say we want 0.3 seconds. Now if we come again, if we refresh, you can see we got the change smoother than before. And after all of these items, the only thing that has remained is this one right here. We want to have only one word right here to change to dark if it's light mode and to change to light if it's dark mode. And another thing of when we click on this, we want this toggle to be activated. So for doing this, we're going to come to style CSS again and have this other variable right here with the name of toggle. And at the first, we want this to be this gray. And let's change that in the container that we got right here. So we change this to variable of toggle. And in our JavaScript, we want to have another one right here. And the color for the toggle is going to be exactly this primary color that we got. So now if we come here, if we click, we got this color for our toggle, which means it's activated. But pay attention, if we click again, still it's going to be in that color. So we need to change that here again. So we copy this word, we duplicate this right here, paste the color name, and we want to change that to gray again. Now, if we come here we got this color, and when we click again, we got this gray color here again. And for changing this text right here, what we need to do here first in our index.html, we need to come to here, and instead of this simple text, we're going to use this span here. And inside of this, because first we're going to start with the light mode, we have this dark, so it says change to dark mode. And as you can see right here, we got this. But when we click on this, we want this dark to change to the light. And how we're going to use that here in the change to the dark mode at the last of our items, let's add another one right here, which is change the text. And here we're going to target that span that we got. So we need to have ID for that. And the ID that we're going to use here, let's say is theme2. So here again, we're going to use our document.getElementById, and the ID is going to be this theme2. And here we want this inner text of this element to be light. And now if we check, if we click on this, here we got this light. But again, we want when we change, it changed to the dark. So we copy these two lines right here and come down here after our change list items. And this time we change this to the dark. And if we check again, you can see we got these items, but you can see this has the transition a little bit different than other items. You can see all of them change, and then this starts to change. And that is because when here we change, it's going to change this one first and then span inside of that. And for removing that, here we can target this ID in our CSS right here, and we make the transition to the none. Now, if we check again, you can see here we got fixed that one too, and we can change our items and our web page theme to the light mode or the dark mode as we want in any cases and any web page using only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Thanks for watching until the end. Please give me your opinion about the video, and if this video was helpful, please like and subscribe so I can make better videos. See you in the next one. Please give a like and subscribe to catch next videos.